to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And here we are. We are tucked away in the war room in the high desert of southern Idaho. We're here. Episode 2300.
Interesting.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
Episode 2300.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, we'll roll with it.
We'll roll with it. So it's just you and me today. Just me and Mark. Say hi, Mark.
Yeah, I'm back.
You're back. We tried to get Kevin Tarver in here, but he'll come back. He had some work. Kevin works a little different. We work for the same company. He runs his route, his schedule, just a little different than I do. He likes to do everything on the weekends. So you'll probably, when you hear Kevin, you'll probably hear him more in the first part of the month, not the last part of the month. So anyhow, he had a good time. Kind of worried about what everyone thought of him, but
Well, so was I when I first started doing this. I mean,
yeah, and you do fine, and Kevin did fantastic, and holy hell, I love his accent.
oh, it's amazing.
I love
it. It makes the show totally different.
Oh, it's freaking fantastic.
Yeah. I wish I could. I mean, I can talk redneck, but I can't talk that redneck. I mean, I'm not calling him a redneck. You haven't even
met Kevin, and you're
I'm not calling him a redneck. I'm just saying that.
You calling him backwoods?
The southern, I can't
country.
Do that.
You call him country?
Yeah, country.
Tarver, you're country.
Country.
Yeah.
Not redneck. Sorry, that's like an Appalachian term. I don't like to use a.
Hey, at least you got the origins of that thing right. I like that. That's good. So. Anyhow, windy out today. Like, good temperature-wise, but my gosh.
I swear, every time I come over here, it's windy.
You bring the damn wind with you.
Well, they got those wind machines going. They got to turn those off sometime.
And actually, if it's going to be windy out for anywhere, it's going to be probably twice as windy here, just because I'm kind of in a funny spot. I'm kind of up on the edge of that canyon.
It kind of just funnels right
Those
up
winds
here.
kind of they funneled, they kind of push right up out of that canyon.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyhow, it is what it is. We had a good class today. We'll talk more about that here in just a little while. But what have you done? It's been, 2 weeks since you've been here?
Yeah. Gosh, I got the gun back from Smith & Wesson.
Oh, is it fixed?
Yeah, it's fixed. It's chambering the rounds now. They sent back some paperwork. They didn't list what was wrong with it or what they fixed on it. I'm kind of curious.
Call the rep.
I should, but I don't know. At this point, I'm just like, I'm glad it's fixed.
It goes bang, so...
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter at this point.
Yep.
So, any interesting folks come into the store?
We sold a few fancy guns.
You're still selling high points. I think
yeah.
we made a pretty good push for high points on our last show.
I mean, and that's the thing is, I don't know. I understand it. If people are only making a little bit of money extra on their paycheck and that's all they can afford, I understand it.
You want a gun to throw in your tackle box? Dude, that's the one right there.
Right.
Doubles you lose your boat anchor, you're good to go, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I sold. Okay, this is a great story. So this gal comes in. She's from Boise area. She's down visiting her dad on Father's Day. She wants to do something for Father's Day for her dad. They come in the store. She wants like all the full size 1911s. She says, I don't care what brand or whatever, how much they are. Put them out on the counter. Flip the price tag over. Don't want to see the price on it. Tells her dad to pick whichever one he wants.
Whoa, that's sweet.
Yeah, not even kidding. And he picks the brand new Sig Sauer, 1911. It's the stand edition, which has like American flag deal all over it.
She spent some freaking money, didn't she?
It's like a $1,300 gun.
Yeah. She spent some.
Well, that's not it though. We have that same stand edition gun in the little P938 SIG, micro, variant, 1911 variant. Anyway, she bought that for herself. At the same time, she bought the one for her.
Nice. And those are sharp guns. They're seen
nice
them.
Little guns.
So how much did she drop in guns?
About over $2,000.
Dude, nice.
because they bought holsters and other stuff. I mean,
Was
yeah.
her dad just like
her
grinning
dad was
from ear to
great,
ear?
Yeah, and I mean, it was very unassuming. You wouldn't, you picture this gal. And I'm not against tattoos. I have tattoos myself, but she's all tatted up and everything, and it's just I wouldn't have.
She loves her dad.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just not something you. I don't know. Very unassuming. Don't think somebody would do that. That looks like that.
Right.
That's stereotyping. I know I hate it, but
let me throw this out there. I don't think they listen to the podcast, but let me throw this out there. This was for Father's Day, huh?
Yeah.
The crap. That's awesome. So, McKady, Journey, Chloe, if you're listening to this, Darren, if you're listening to this, you need to let my daughter know, to let her sisters know that this is what I expect next Father's Day.
Yeah.
And if you decide you want to do it a little sooner, my birthday's coming up. That's July 7th, by the way. It's coming up, and I could make a trip into D&B, and you'd be more than happy to set guns out on the counter and flip the price tags over, right?
Sure.
But if they come in and their price range is like fancy gun, I don't know, man. You need to talk them up a little bit. So
You gotta at least go with the Ruger Security 9. I mean,
something, yeah, something. I wanted that 500 Smith or something.
Smith and Wesson.
Yeah, 500 Smith.
Like Smith and Wesson revolver in the class today.
Yeah, dude, that gun was sweet.
Holy cow,
lady case. So we had the ladies class today. It's the second one. Mark, you didn't help me with the first one, but you helped me with this one. And it was the women's class. And we started them off with the first class going over basic everything. Okay, getting them all tuned up, getting them all dialed in. And this class, we worked on how to draw and shoot. We touched back on the basics, dialed them all back in again, because, of course, they didn't go shoot. Okay, most of them didn't go shoot, and that's fine. But we dialed them back in, and we worked on drawing and shooting, and then we worked on, like, magazine changes or reloads, that kind of thing. And one of the gals missed the very first class. She showed up today, and I forgot she was going to bring a revolver. I don't know the number, what model of revolver it was, but it was a Smith & Wesson, and it was... Dean, you missed out, because that gun was... We should have taken a picture of it. That thing was beautiful. She said it was...
I don't even know why I didn't look at the model on it.
Yeah, it was older. Just a beautiful, beautiful revolver.
That had the greatest double action trigger I've ever seen in my life.
Nice wide, just what everything that you would expect of a Smith & Wesson trigger.
There was absolutely no creep whatsoever in that trigger.
And what it was like a 4-inch barrel, 5-inch barrel,
probably 4.
About a 4-inch barrel on it. Bluing wasn't faded. It was perfect.
It was perfect.
It wasn't wore out.
It was an older gun, but man, you wouldn't know. You'd think it was right off the shelf.
Beautiful. 357. She was shooting 38s in it.
Mm-hmm.
But beautiful.
Man, she could shoot that gun too.
She could
Holy
shoot
cow,
the hell out of that thing.
Her groups were like baseball size, probably,
or smaller.
Smaller, yeah.
Probably some. I mean, there's sometimes she was ping pong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she was
stacking them.
She was phenomenal. And then she holstered it, and she didn't holster it right on her right hip. Is kind of in the front, kind of like
almost appendix. Yeah.
Almost appendix carrying away. She reminded me of an old gunslinger.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just the way it was, just it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
It was a sight to behold. And then later on, she pulled out her semi-auto,
also a beautiful Smith & Wesson.
Beautiful Smith & Wesson,
yeah.
Perfect wooden panels on the grip,
Oh man,
perfect bluing.
Yeah,
original.
Oh yeah,
it was a Smith & Wesson 9mm model 39-2.
Yeah,
beautiful gun. I wish I would have pulled. I didn't pull the trigger on that one, but
I didn't either.
Beautiful gun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looked like it was brand new from the factory. So I don't know where she's finding those Smith & Wessons, but she can keep bringing those things, and those things are awesome.
Yeah, anytime. Bring them anytime.
Those are awesome. I'm not even a revolver guy. I would have taken that revolver in a heartbeat.
Like I said, I've pulled the trigger on a lot of revolvers. Never felt one in a double action that felt that good.
Have you shot many Smith & Wesson revolvers though?
Not too many Smiths. I've shot like the 500 and the 460, and got the man card for that and everything.
Right.
But, probably a couple 357s, and I don't know if I've ever done a 44, but
Speaking of the big revolvers, the 500 and the whatever.
yeah.
There's a guy going to be coming and taking a class. I'm doing a class for him and his family. Just kind of a basic gun type class. Dial you in. Here's how to shoot a gun if you haven't before, that kind of thing. He's a buddy of mine, and he's got some monster revolvers. And he's told me he'd bring them, and at the end of class we could shoot them.
They are a blast. I mean, no pun intended. They're a blast to shoot. I mean,
I'm looking forward to this.
You can see the shock wave going through the air, like coming off that bullet.
I've never shot those big revolvers, and I'm going to get the video out, and we're going to record it. I'll post it. I'm so looking forward
Where
to
you have dirt on your range, you'll probably see dirt like part like the Red Sea, I swear.
Really?
I mean, that's how much shock is coming off of that when it travels through the air.
Oh, I can't wait, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. But anyhow, back to today's class. Everyone shot really well. Everyone drew their firearm really well.
I was very impressed.
So you've helped me with two different types of classes. Well, you've helped me with my permit class, which they're good too, but they get repetitive, right?
Right. Yeah. And
I mean, you're shoving through, and I don't want to deter anyone from taking my class, but you're shoving through a lot of people at one time.
Yeah, and it's a lot to go through, like mentally. By the time we're done, I'm drained mentally. And
so you're feeling about this class the same way I felt about it when I first did it. Remember, we had the podcast, and you talked to me about it, and it's you in the permit classes. I'm helping people shoot, but I can't spend a lot of individual one-on-one time with them.
Right.
But in these classes are small. I mean, the first class we had today, there's like 3 people, 4 people total when they show up. Second class is 5 total. So they're small classes. But phenomenal classes. I mean, they're so much more fun, and you get to spend more one-on-one time with these people, with these women to teach them how to shoot, and they enjoy it.
Yeah,
they enjoy shooting. And
you can tell they enjoy it. I mean, they're all having a great time with it, and
yeah.
The first class, the one gal was not doing so hot, but she was upbeat and she was happy and she was joking around about it. She knew that she may not have been doing it right, and but it wasn't going to let her, stop doing it. She was going to,
and that was
fix it.
That was Linda, right? The lady that missed the first class.
Yes.
So yeah, and that's the only reason. I think the problem wasn't she was doing fine and she was catching on. She missed the first class, so she missed like some of the basic stuff, and we tried to catch her up really quick. But it's not like I had 4 hours with her,
right,
to sit down and go over everything. So she was a little nervous.
Oh,
I mean, and
that's what it came. That's what it was
right,
nerves more than anything.
And that's okay. I mean, we know how that works, but she got into it, and I don't know if necessarily shooting was her thing. I mean, I think she shoots and she doesn't mind going shooting. I think her husband wanted her to take this class more than she wanted to. But you know what? She's here. She's trying her best. She wasn't being unsafe. She wasn't deliberately like, I don't want to be here type of thing.
Right.
But she was here. She was here with her daughter. And her daughter was phenomenal at shooting. And just a good day overall. These women, they want to be here. No one's making them. It's not like their husband's making them go get their concealed carry. You need to go get your concealed carry permit. You got to take this class. Most of them want to be here. Yeah. They want to learn, and I think it's easier for them to learn when it's just women, one-on-one, not a bunch of guys there. And
just in my experiences at the gun counter, if the guy's there with the woman, as she's looking for a gun, he's, standing over her shoulder, and he's, and they're not comfortable with it.
Right.
Even though, they're married or whatever, they're just not comfortable with it.
Sorry, yawning.
So it's kind of it's nice for them to get out, and especially if they want to do it on their own, then they're more driven, I think, to do it.
Right.
And they're more receptive to not necessarily criticism, but kind of guiding them through the steps and everything. They're way more receptive to it.
And this, they've already paid for these classes. I mean, they paid for them ahead of time, which I don't usually do, but they paid for them ahead of time, and then in between every class, I send them a list of stuff they need to come to class with. Whether it be, make sure you have 2 magazines, make sure you have a holster. So these women, not only have they forked out money for the class and the time away from their families, away from the mom things that they need to be doing on a Saturday, whether it be soccer practice with the kids or baseball or whatever the hell kind of sports going on right now. I don't follow those things, but they they're having to go out and spend $50, $60, $100, in between, and they're doing it, and they're buying the ammo, and they're just enjoying the hell out of it. So, and I enjoy it. It's fun. So today, what we did at the very end of class, I like to give them something. We like to do something kind of fun. Last time we did like the zipper drill is what I call it. You punch out to the target with your firearm and shoot as you're walking backwards away from the target, that kind of thing. This time I went to DI and I bought a bunch of old cheap purses, and I had I think it was a Smith & Wesson Airweight 38 Special revolver. It had the shrouded hammer or hammerless or whatever you want to call it. And I showed them how to put the revolver in the purse and how they could actually hold the strap of the purse, and they could actually shoot through the purse with the revolver, still keep their gun kind of concealed. So not that they're going to ever do that, but it's a possibility. It can be done. I explained what guns work well doing that, and that semi-autos don't necessarily work well that way. They can get jammed up and that kind of stuff. And they were they're a little apprehensive at first, and they are when you start new stuff. But I know Naomi, she did it. She shot it, and she's like,
right on.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I want to do that again. So once they're always a little shy, a little nervous. But once they jump out there and start doing it, they have a hell of a good time. So it was
kind of fun to watch too. I
bought some quality purses too. So I went to DI and I was in there with a bunch of old ladies over there looking at the purses, and I went in myself and I'm like, I need a purse. And the guy's like, well, the purses are over there. So I walked over there and there was like 4 or 5 old women, older ladies looking at purses. And I'm like, well, this feels a little awkward. Finally, I'm just like, I'm cheap. So I don't think I spent over $3 on one. And I'm like, I want this purse. I got it. I put it on my arm. Grabbed another one to put it on my arm. Next thing I know, I think these women are talking about me. I can't hear because they're talking in Spanish. I can hear them, but I don't know what they're saying. And they keep looking at me and like talking to each other and kind of snickering and like looking back at me. And I'm over there grabbing purses that I want to buy. Now, this is my chance. They're not paying attention to the purses. They're paying attention to me. I'm grabbing and putting them on my freaking arm. And the next thing I know, one of them tries to cut in front of me. Like push me out. Come
on, ladies, he's taking them all.
Push me out of the freaking purse area.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I ended up fighting back, and I ended up walking away with like 12 or 13 purses. I got a bunch of them. We shot through some of them, and yeah, it was fun.
I'm curious because I don't shop for purses, but you think there's like a fancy purse, kind of like a fancy gun?
I don't know. I think I had a shiny purse. Yeah, there's a shiny one, and there's red and black. It looked like it was pleather,
the pleather
plastic
one?
dip pleather or something. And then you've got a little handbag over there.
This is my dragon scale purse.
That's your dragon scale purse. Go find our live Facebook video and check that out. And then you got me. Was it a green one I was using?
Yeah.
You got me shooting through a green one.
Yeah.
And it's not up on Facebook. Well, it'll be up on Facebook before this airs. It's not right now, but it will be. I'll throw that up on Facebook. Show you.
That's kind of a cool picture. I just want to throw that out there.
It is. It's kind of a cool picture. So anyhow, we had a lot of fun. The ladies enjoyed it, and they learned a lot. And by the end of the day, they were drawing and firing. They weren't doing so quickly necessarily, but they was smoother, safely, smoother. I've tried to be real safe about drawing and shooting. Bad things can happen if you're careless about it. And when you start doing that, you should always involve lots of unloaded dry fire type reps over and over and over again.
I was really thrilled to see how much attention they were giving to the safety aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
And we weren't like standing over their shoulder hounding them about it. They were very self-conscious safety orientated, they were more so than probably we were, I would think.
Well, I tried to open their eyes and wake them up a little bit too, and just we always talk about safety, but I also told them, I said, this right now, I'm going to be honest with you, and you heard me. I'm going to be honest with you. I said, this is a huge liability for me, and it's very dangerous. This is a very dangerous part of shooting, and you've got to, you've got to do it right. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. This is why we're doing this with an unloaded firearm. It's why we're doing dry runs. It's why we're doing it over and over and over and over again. In fact, as goofy as it sounds, we started it off with finger guns. We weren't even using even unloaded firearms.
Mm-hmm.
We started it off by them making a gun with their hands, with their fingers, and practicing the steps of the technique like that before we even let them progress to an actual unloaded firearm.
Yeah.
And at first I think they thought that was a little silly, and then they saw how it all kind of worked and flowed together, and they were good with it. But I let them know. I said, this is very dangerous.
And that does boil back, that it goes right back to the fundamentals.
Right.
And we talked about fundamentals in some of the previous podcasts. And,
yeah.
And I mean, I told them straight up, I still do that finger gun thing.
Oh, yeah.
When I practice my draws, I still do that because I go through the steps. I go through the technique,
Well, and what a good thing to teach them, too, because that's something that, like you said, they can always go back to.
Yeah.
For example, I knew this would happen. That's why we did it. But we worked on shooting fundamentals in the first class. That was a month ago. Come back. Some of them had shot a little. Most of them had not. So I said, okay, let's see what you remembered. So we're just going to go down there. We're going to load 6 rounds, 7 rounds, whatever I told them. And just, here's your targets. Go ahead and shoot. Range is hot. Shoot. I want to watch you. We'll let them do that 2 or 3 times. And then we started letting them do it by themselves and kind of correcting them a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? We're going to stop. We're going to stop, and we're going to go back to the basics. You guys are doing pretty good, but you're not as tight as the group as you were.
Mm-hmm.
You're wandering a little. You're kind of erratic. Let's stop. We stopped. Unload your firearms. Let's dry fire. And we did that for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
10 or 15 minutes. Let's dry fire.
Yeah. And
so what did we do? We went back to the basics.
Yeah. And they
improved dramatically.
Yeah. You could tell in certain aspects where they were maybe messing up, and you could kind of work on them fixing it. And by the time we were done doing that, they were right. They were just shooting amazingly after that.
And I told him it's like when I go to shoot. Okay, I was talking to this guy, gal that shoots competition. Okay, she's like a bullseye competition shooter, and this is what she told me. She goes, it's all about muscle memory and doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, just exactly like you did it the time before and the time before and the time before. So she has a little list written on her gun case or whatever that she can see. And if she's starting her shots or groups are starting to open up a little bit, she's starting to waver, she says she stops. She looks at that list, and she's got step 1, step 2, step 3. And she's got written down the basics, whatever the basics are for her. And so she looks at it, and she goes down that list, and it helps her dial everything back in. Okay, we're going to stop. We're going to do this. I'm going to check my trigger squeeze. I'm going to check my grip. I'm going to check my whatever. She goes down the list, and then bang, there it is. There it is. You're back again. So you just got to slow down. I think we get going so fast. Our mind gets going so fast that we just end up not paying attention to what we're doing. We
I'm
leave
guilty
out
of it
steps.
too.
Oh, everyone is.
And
so what we did in this class today is we dialed them back down. Let's go out. Let's just unload your guns. Let's do dry fire, dry fire practice. And that's what we did. And it worked. We did it in both classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're like, wow, let's go back to the basics. Let's do this. So now they have something they can use later on. And we sent them home with at least one class. You sent home with targets.
Mm-hmm.
That was gracious of you. I appreciate that. And I told them, one lady, they're teachers. Most of them are teachers.
Yeah.
She said, well, send us home with homework. I said, okay.
There it is.
I want 50 rounds in that target.
Yeah.
And I don't want them just sprayed all over the target. I want 50 rounds in that target.
Dialed in, yeah.
Dialed in the best you can. And then they don't realize it yet, but when they bring it back to class, I'm going to have them tell me what they were doing. What did you do here? What happened here? Why are these shots over here?
Off over here? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, I like to encourage people to go out and shoot. And if I have to give up a little bit to do that, then that's what I'm going to do. It doesn't bother me.
They were so excited when you said that.
Yeah. I love it when people get out and shoot. I mean, I'm in the business to sell guns. I'm in the business to sell ammo, stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm not doing it just to sell that. I'm trying to encourage people to get out and do that stuff.
Right.
Because the way, I don't want to get political, but the way this culture in this country is going, it's going away from the guns.
Oh, yeah.
And
no, it is.
Trying to bring it back in any small way, form, or fashion I can.
Right.
So,
at least in this small corner of Idaho, right?
Yeah.
in the west end of the Magic Valley,
Yeah.
in the high desert
high
of southern
deserts.
Idaho. So it was a good class, but much less stressful. It was a little stressful, but much less stressful than
Way less stressful.
Yeah.
I'm not drained. I'm excited. I mean, it's a totally different experience.
Total different way to teach
Yeah.
everything. So, but the permit classes are the bread and butter of Patriot Defense, so I can't stomp on those.
No,
but
no,
I'll
by
tell
any
you though,
means.
I've been doing a ton of private classes. I've been doing a lot more of these type of classes this summer, and I'm hoping that they will take off. And I don't know. I love doing these different classes. It's very nice. Someday when I can do this full time, it'll be, well, if I can ever do this full time, that'll be awesome. You can quit D&B and come work for me.
I don't know. I like D&B. I mean, I don't mind.
You can
like
do
being-
both.
Yeah, there you go.
You can do both. I don't think I could pay you enough to make you quit D&B.
D&B's been pretty good to me, so.
Okay, well, you can stay there then. I'm trying to think what else we got going on here. I sent a video out. Oh man, if I sound horrible on the radio, it's because the wind is blowing so hard out there. My allergies are totally stirred up.
Yeah, I can tell. They're
kind of nasally sounding. So there was a video I posted to you of a guy. I think he just got done like attacking some woman in the street, and someone called the police or law enforcement showed up. He turned around to try to attack law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. It was in Ohio, yeah.
And they drew and fired at it was point blank range.
Yeah, he shot him, no doubt. I mean, he dropped to the ground, but then he jumped right back up and got into a physical altercation. It took 3 of the officers to detain him. I mean, this is after he'd already been shot.
And it was a good shot by the officer, and it was a bigger caliber. I would imagine it was either a 40 or a 45. I forget what it said it was, but I'm going to throw this out there, okay? And this is just, if you know calibers, if you know guns at all, you'll understand this. Handguns do kill, handguns can stop, handguns can wound, all that stuff. But really, they aren't made for killing. They're more or less made for buying you time, for creating distance, for, that kind of deal. They aren't the most effective guns at actually killing. Okay, not that you want to tell the law enforcement, hey, why'd you shoot? Oh, I shot to kill. You're shooting to stop the threat. That's a rifle is better for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you just need to know this, because one shot maybe ain't going to do it, even if you have a 45. It's about getting rounds downrange, getting rounds on target, getting rounds into the threat, as many as you can, as quickly as you can. And that is what's going to stop the threat or slow them down or whatever. Don't just expect one round, even a 45 or a 10 millimeter round, is going to stop him. You don't know if the guy's high on drugs. You don't know anything about this. You've just rolled up onto the scene, possibly, right?
It might be a zombie even. Who knows?
Those only take place down in Florida.
Oh, right. Yeah, with the
Florida man.
Bath salts or whatever they were.
Florida man.
Yeah, Florida man again.
We haven't seen any Florida man stories.
No, but there's a Washington man. Well, this is a good story, though. I'm not going to bash on Washington.
Tell it.
There's a Walmart in Washington.
He was a pastor. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Armed civilians shoot the would-be mass shooter in the Washington Walmart.
So the guy walked into Walmart and fired like 2 or 3 rounds into like a display case. I don't know what his beef was. Just what I heard.
He didn't like what was in the display.
Something.
The chicken wasn't cooked right or something.
Chicken wasn't cooked right. They were out of potato salad.
Yeah.
So anyhow, he left there. He ran out of the store. He tried to carjack someone. Right? Did you hear this?
This is I think a different one, but yeah. No, there was two concealed carry.
I think this is the same one.
It might be the same.
He tried to carjack someone, wasn't successful at it. I think maybe shot that person or something. Then tried to carjack someone else, wounded that person, and there's 2 people with concealed carry permits that then approached him and took care of the situation. And did they kill him?
I don't know. It just says shoots. It said shoots.
And anyhow, took care of the situation. Put some rounds into him, and then law enforcement showed up, and it was all over. So there you go. A good guy with a gun stops a bad guy with a gun, and unless you are tuned in to the correct media sources, You aren't going to hear that because I don't think I saw that on any of the major
Nope.
news media outlets.
Nope. I'm so sick of the media coverage in this country. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's not even media coverage anymore. They're just telling you what they want you to hear.
Yep. And then I don't know. It's like that thing where everybody was looking up in the sky today.
Yeah.
A bunch of sheep.
Yeah, a bunch of sheep. So,
Because an airplane was flying over.
any other stories come out?
Oh,
I want to
crap.
touch on something while you're looking through your
Sure.
phone.
I just got onto this one, so go
You're
ahead.
fine. I did a church group my parents go to. They had a thing. They wanted to shoot guns, and they have a range that I used to use over there. I had dug out for myself, and anyhow, they wanted to use it. Whatever, they wanted me to come there and kind of demonstrate some safety and just to help anyone who wanted to shoot, and just kind of be range officer type thing. So I said sure, no problem. Showed up, and there was a guy there that he had a gun. He had a little 380 EZ, and an older gentleman. He just bought it. He shot it a little bit and brought it down to shoot it. He loves the gun. In fact, I think my mom likes it too. I think she might be buying one. But anyhow, his son was with him, and his son was in the back behind him. And the guy was telling me, he's like, "Man, I pulled this thing out of the box and I shot it, and the sights aren't lined up, and I was shooting way right or way left, or my shots were like way off." And he's like, "Man, I thought they'd be sighted in from the factory." And I looked at his son, and I'm like, "They are." And he kind of looked at me, nodded his head, and he's like, just listen to him. And the guy was showing me, he's like, "Man, I had to adjust this rear sight." He goes, "I pushed it over as far as I could get it." That rear sight was pushed over as far as, and he was shooting it great. The guy was dead on. I mean, he was holding tight groups. But and his son looked at me, and I looked at his son, I was like, it's dialed in at the factory. So all he's done is he's moved the sight to compensate for his shooting, to make his shooting look better.
Right. So
instead of fixing,
when anybody else goes to shoot that gun,
it's going to be way off. So it's funny. Don't do that. When you get a firearm from the factory, I'm going to say 99% of the time, that sucker is dialed in.
Yeah.
Right.
If it's not, I mean, take it to a gunsmith and have them,
those
bore sight and do all that stuff.
Those sights are dialed in. Don't move the sights. And I you know how many times I hear this in class? Go, "I might need to adjust these sights. I'm way off." And I'm like, finally I just have to look at them and say, "Sorry to tell you, dude, your gun's not the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You're the problem. Let's fix you. And if we fix you and the gun's still off, we'll give it to 2 or 3 other people to shoot. And if it's still off, it's off, and we'll adjust it. But if it's not, it's not. Chances are it's you." And it's always been that person. So don't move the sights to fix it because of your poor shooting ability. I mean, that you're not going to get any better. You're not going to. I thought it was really funny, and didn't we have that happen in class today a little bit too?
Yeah.
Who was that? I can't remember now.
Naomi, I think.
It was such a.
She had her finger too high on the trigger or something. I can't remember what it was. Or maybe I was thinking of something else.
Anyhow, something came up in class like that, and someone was like, no. Someone was shooting wrong. They were flinching. And she's like, "Oh, I'll just aim higher."
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no. That's not the way this works.
Right.
You're not going to aim higher to make up for your shooting ability. We're going to fix your shooting. We're going to fix your ability, and then the gun will be good to go, man. Don't start screwing around with the sights on your firearm unless you know 100% that they're off, and they shouldn't be. So, just kind of a pet peeve, something I saw. I hate it when people do that. "Well, I need to fix these." You ask them in class, and they'll be shooting okay. But you say, "How are you shooting?" "Well, man, these sights are like way off. I keep shooting high and to the left." I'm like, it's not your sights that are off. It's you're the one that's off.
Right.
So we have a call in, and let me find it here.
You said this is your caller, your friend from Boise?
My friend from Boise. He's the one that saw
the sky.
Yeah, he's the one that saw the sky.
He came in and talked to me. I actually know him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Josh.
Yeah. Josh too, yeah.
I didn't even know. How do you pronounce his last name?
Josh
toe is?
I
I
don't
don't freaking know, Josh.
I mean, I don't know him like really well. I've known him. From
I know Josh
previous,
too.
yeah.
He texts me all the time, but I don't know him.
Yeah, he came down and talked to me at the store. So
That's what he was saying. He's a good guy.
oh yeah,
Did he talk to you? Did he tell you all about that gun falling apart in the store?
Yeah,
That was freaking
yeah.
hilarious.
It's too bad he didn't have his camera ready because that would have been
That'd have been
epic.
great, huh?
Epic, yeah.
So okay, well let me pull this up and I will play Josh's call and then we will comment on it.
Hey, this is Josh. Hey, guys. I just wanted to call in and maybe recommend some going over some of the rules for the open and constitutional carry. The other day up here in Boise, I was in a little shop and there's a young man came in with his wife and he was carrying openly, and the shopkeeper had albeit very difficult to see, no firearm sticker that I didn't even notice when I walked in on the door, but they confronted the young man, and he was extremely agitated that he felt that the constitutional carry meant was his constitutional right to carry anywhere he wanted, and no one could tell him he couldn't. And after things kind of settled down a little bit, I was talking to the young man, explaining to him that, yes, private property owners, shopkeepers, etc., do have the right to say no to carry on their premises, but maybe something to go over and maybe encourage people to look up the rules and regulations for what they're doing so we can be cleaner and better than the other guys so people don't freak out when they see gun owners. They feel more comfortable. All right, guys, great podcast. Love to listen to it. Talk to you later. Bye.
So there we go. That was a call from my buddy Josh up in, I don't know, the Boise area somewhere. And he had a little story about a kid. Josh was out shopping at some private establishment, private store somewhere. And there was a gentleman in there that was open carrying. I was quite proud of the fact that he was open carrying, and that's fine. If you want to open carry. That's fine with me. But the owners of the establishment saw that he was carrying, saw that he had a firearm, and decided that they didn't want him there. So they asked him to leave with the firearm. Now, I don't know if they said leave, go back, never come back. I don't know if they were rude about it. I'm sure if they were, Josh would have told us. But leave with the firearm, maybe come back without it, that type of thing. They didn't want a firearm in their store. Now, they are allowed to do that. Let me say this. Last summer, Idaho established a law called constitutional or permitless carry. Okay?
Last summer or the summer before?
I don't
thought it was
know.
2016.
Maybe it was.
Okay.
Permitless carry, constitutional carry, which means if you are a resident of Idaho, you can concealed carry without a permit in this state as long as you are 21 or older. You can do it if you're 18. But you have to take the enhanced concealed carry permit to be able to carry. They added that on the law.
Yeah.
But if you're 21 or older, you do not need a permit to conceal carry in the state of Idaho. You still have to obey all the laws and all that good stuff.
School zones, stuff like that.
School zones.
Yep.
So he said that this gentleman, this kid, this person, whoever, carried in there. They were told to leave. They said, nope, it's my constitutional right. I can constitutionally carry in here. That is incorrect. If it is a private establishment and they actually have a sign on the door, and I don't even think they have to have a sign on the door, but they see that you have a firearm and that you can carry past a sign, and you're fine as long as they don't see it. Legally, you haven't broken any laws. If they see it and they ask you to leave, you still haven't broken any laws as long as it's a private establishment and not a federal building or something like that, school, whatever. You are still fine. It is when you don't leave, that you refuse to leave, that is a problem. They can then call law enforcement, and you will not be on a gun charge, but it will be on a trespassing charge. Okay? So therein lies the whole issue right there. Yes, we can constitutionally carry, but you still have to respect the rights of others' private property and businesses, that kind of thing. That doesn't trump...
Yeah, your rights don't trump other rights, and
their personal
vice
rights.
versa. Yeah.
So, I think that's the clarification Josh was looking for. But I mean, you got anything you want to add to it?
No, actually, he brought this up when he came and talked to me in the store, and that conversation came up.
Right.
I see people that do, and I'm gonna go kind of off on this.
Sure.
I see people that do open carry. And I kind of wonder why. I mean, if they want to, that's their right. It is an open carry state if they want to. But, I'd rather not let people know
Right.
personally that I'm carrying. It does tend to make people nervous. And when people get nervous, sometimes they do stupid things. Sometimes they don't do the,
Right.
they kind of lose their mind about things. And I just would rather alleviate that whole issue
Right.
from potentially happening.
So you're like, no, you don't like open carry.
I'm not a big fan of it, but when people are walking around with a gun,
Right.
I'm not that person that gets nervous.
Right.
And
But
I
some
know there
people
are
do.
people that do.
Some people do it to cause a scene. And I don't know if this kid was doing it to cause a scene,
Mm-hmm.
but if you cover it, conceal it, do it.
Why not? I mean,
Why not?
If you're
But
allowed
if
to
someone,
do it,
if you're not going to conceal it and they're going to see it, that's fine. You run that risk, and they're going to ask you to leave. You need to leave. Your constitutional right doesn't trump their constitutional right on their private property.
right?
That's just the way it goes. If they don't want you there, that's their loss, and you don't want to go in because they won't support your constitutional rights. Take your money elsewhere. That's the way. That's the way to fight that. Take your money elsewhere. Just like this, okay? If I was at home in my house, someone came over and I didn't want them there, and I asked them to leave, and they don't leave, then that's a trespassing charge.
Yeah.
My house is my castle. What I say goes in it. Okay, I can allow guns in there. I can allow who I want in there, and then I can tell those people they need to leave as well.
So you're saying I should leave?
Yeah, I'm saying you're good to go, man. If you weren't here, we wouldn't have a podcast.
Oh,
tonight.
right. Yeah, I forgot about the
can-
podcast.
You can stay, and besides that, I think I owe you a little bit of money anyway.
Oh,
And
I
you're
forgot.
probably not gonna. Well, you passed out some of your targets, so I at least owe you at least something. I'll give you. I'll pay you good, man. It
All
was
right,
fun.
No
and
problem.
you know what? For a little bonus, you can take your dragon scale purse home with you.
I'm gonna pass on the purse.
Okay, we're gonna hang him up. We're gonna hang him around the war room in
I was
here.
gonna say that'd be. I don't know. That's kind of cool having those big holes blown through them.
Yeah. We got a little off topic though,
Yeah.
right? But anyhow, just know the laws, know the rules. Don't argue, okay? You're not going to win getting in some arguing and getting in some showdown
Right. And
in a
there's
place of business like that. That draws the wrong. Like I guarantee
wrong
you,
attention. Yeah.
if you raise your voice and they start raising your voice and the cops come and there is a gun involved, whether or not you've drawn it or not, even if it's just on your hip, someone's popped open their cell phone and they're recording that, and it will go on Facebook. It'll go online.
That happened just here recently at the pizza place down on Main and Twin.
What? Back it up.
No, you sent me the video.
What happened?
The guys that were open carrying out in front of the pizza joint on Main Street.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
And the owner, I don't know the whole deal.
Something
behind
about
it, but
they wanted to sit in the chairs. They didn't want them to sit in the chairs. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I don't even know if it involved the firearm. But on Facebook, these people there's some chairs and tables out in front of a little restaurant on Main Street. Okay? I don't know who paid for the chairs and tables. I don't even know if the restaurant even owned that little piece of sidewalk right there. So people showed up and they sat down. And they weren't eating, I think.
I don't know.
And
But,
someone- they
they
were
were
op-
saying it's public public domain.
They
and
were
all that
open
stuff. I don't
carrying as
know.
well, I
Yeah.
believe. And so, of course, that's going to get brought
And
up.
they were
But-
the 3%ers. And,
Yeah, the threepers. And you ever heard them called that?
Mhm.
Threepers? Freaking threepers. But anyhow, they're nothing but, I won't say.
There's a good way to go about
There's a good way to go about
carrying a gun,
doing
and-
what they
and
want to do.
doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And
Anyhow,
there's bad attention.
They caused a big stink and they wouldn't leave or something. Anyhow, I think went to the city council, all kinds of stuff. But it was funny because they kept saying in the video, and I have a firearm and I have a right to carry my firearm. I don't even know if it was about your freaking firearm to begin with. But there's a guy on Facebook, I don't know him. And he's on this rants and raves page all the time.
Oh,
And
love those rants and raves.
whatever he puts out there online, he ends his comment with, and I carry a gun. And it'll be like, yeah, I don't believe they should put pickles on Subway sandwiches, and I carry a gun. I mean, that's like his tagline at the end.
Gotcha.
I did see some people driving crazy today, and I carry a gun. Guess what? I missed my alarm. I woke up late, and I made it to work late today, and I carry a gun. What the hell's that all about? Who cares? Why would
I don't
you
know.
why would you tagline that? I don't care. Actually, when I read his first comment on Rants and Raves, I'm like, I read this comment, and I carry a gun. I'm like, this guy's really bad at grammar. What the? He like left out a couple sentences. I'm kind of confused.
Yeah.
Here. I'm lost.
Where did this go?
But then I figured out what he was doing.
Yeah, taglines.
That's just ridiculous, man.
Hashtag crappy Carrie.
Hashtag. What is up with hashtag crappy Carrie?
I don't know.
I need more I'll do some research, but I don't think there's any hashtag crap. I don't even quite know how to do it, and I'm definitely not going to do it while we're recording, or I'm going to screw up the whole freaking recording.
Yeah.
So I don't trust my computers that much.
You know what's funny is since we came up with that deal, somebody suggested hashtag fancy guns.
Who did that?
Kevin at the gun counter.
What the hell?
Hashtag fancy guns.
If you see someone with a fancy gun, we need to hashtag fancy gun. We need to get Kevin on the freaking podcast.
Yeah.
So hashtag fancy guns. Now explain what our version of fancy guns are. We're not talking about your $1,200 1911.
No, I'm gonna add a couple to the high point. There's high points. Obviously, our fancy gun.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Skies. I'm gonna say the SCCYs.
Okay. Jimenez.
I'm gonna throw out.
Jimenez.
I'm gonna throw out Jimenez
Star
and Stars. I'll throw out Keltex. Even there's a few Keltex out there that.
Okay.
Now, granted, there's a couple
I can see that.
I kind of like the Keltex. Some of the stuff where they're going with it.
I got it.
But it's all plastic.
Jennings.
So Jennings, yes.
Jennings.
Basically, any of those.
Anything that you've never
from
heard
the
of
mid
before.
'80s, where there was just gun manufacturers popping up everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't, now you don't see any of them anymore.
So hashtag crappy guns. Hashtag crappy carry. No, hashtag fancy guns.
Yeah, fancy guns.
Hashtag crappy carry.
Now, obviously, the fancy is, the opposite of what it actually says.
And the fancier, the better. I mean, you can get us like a freaking Jimenez with like a freaking red dot.
Or Norenko. You get a little Norenko 25 auto on there.
Oh, beautiful.
I want to see some fancy guns sent to, the Patriot Defense Facebook page.
Yeah, post them on the Patriot Defense Facebook page.
Let's
Hashtag
see how many
guns.
fancy guns we can get out there.
Hashtag, and I'm going to remind you of who's in here in the room with us. It's Mark. Hashtag dragon scale purse.
Dragon scales. Yeah.
Dragon scale purse. So anyhow, I think it's going to be a shorter show today because I'm starting to kind of lose my voice a little bit.
Okay.
It's sounding pretty rough.
So
remind them.
Yeah, I'm going to remind you.
Why do they need to call that hotline?
You need to call this hotline because we need stuff to talk about. Because it's not like we can't just ramble on. I mean, we can
obviously,
go forever.
Obviously,
but
we can.
Give us topics. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, call the podcast hotline. Talk about it. The number is 1208-696-4397. That number again is 1208-696-4397. We'd like to hear from you. Philip, keep calling in. Josh, call in again, please.
Eric.
Anybody.
Eric graduated. Eric from Napa graduated from Post yesterday. Congratulations. They gave that dude a 40 cal and a badge.
Heck yeah.
No more speeding through Gooding.
Well, let's get him over here.
He needs to get over here. I'm going to give him, he's been gone for like 10 weeks from his family pretty much. So I'm going to give him.
We'll bring a pizza for him if he shows up.
Donuts. He's a cop. He likes donuts now.
Yeah.
Eric will bring you some donuts, but we want to get you over here. You spend time with your family.
Is that bribing a cop if we do that?
I don't freaking care.
Yeah.
So anyhow, Eric, we want to get you over here, chat with you a little bit. It doesn't have to be right away. We'll give you a week or two. We'll get you over here. I have talked to a holster guy about doing an interview with him.
Holsters?
Rock Holsters.
Yeah. Local guy out of Twin.
Ryan Kelso.
Yep.
So we'll see if we can still work on that. Just getting everyone's schedules to jive. I don't want to do an interview with someone and be the only person in the interview because my questions are stupid and boring most of the time. I'd like Dean or Mark or Kevin or someone. I want to get Kevin Tarver back, learn how to shoot alligators again.
Yeah. So I'd like to do a shout out before we end this. I'm going to shout out to all the women in the class today. They did awesome, and keep on shooting.
Yeah, fantastic class. We enjoy them a bunch. I know at least a few of them will listen. They all need to listen. We've kind of cleaned the podcast up a little bit. Maybe not as I don't know. We'll see. If Dean gets back on Percocet again, we're in trouble. We're
gonna have to put like a F-bomb filter on these mics.
Big trouble. So remember, hashtag crappy carry, hashtag fancy guns, hashtag dragon scale purse, Mark's dragon scale purse. Hashtag. Let's come up with some more. Hashtag
do your laundry.
Hashtag. I don't know. I'm done. Anyhow, yeah. I'm done. I think we're good to go. Take care. Hope everyone had a great weekend, and we'll see you in a week.
Bye.
Bye. Stop.